Ukrainian drone attacking a pair of demoralized Russian soldiers is equally grim, and an important microcosm of Russia's broader war on Ukraine as the conflict enters its third, bloodiest year. It's a story filled with terror, cowardice, betrayal, cruel determination, and exploding heads. A grenade-armed drone from Ukraine's State Border Security Service discovered two lonely Russian soldiers in their shallow dugout, somewhere along the 600-mile-long front line. In drone video footage, recently posted online by Ukrainian border guards, the Russian soldier appears alone. No other powers were visible. No air defenses or long-range radio jammers can attack such low-flying unmanned aerial vehicles. The two Russians knew the UAV was there. One was curled up on his side, shaking and covering his head. Others sat quietly, smoking cigarettes and making eye contact with the drone operator through the machine's camera. The smoking Russian pointed at his companion who was shaking in fear. Drone operators obliged, at first. As the smoker watched from several meters away, the drone dropped its grenade directly onto the cowering soldier, and blew his head off. Maybe the drone only carried one grenade. Perhaps the smoker believed that, if the drone fired its grenade at the frightened soldier, he, the smoker, would still live. Or maybe the drone has more than one grenade, and the smoker is desperate to live a little longer, and at any moral cost. In Avdivka, the Russians are now using so-called mole tactics. This means small groups of men without weapons, helmets, or any body armor are sent into forested areas as close to Ukrainian positions as possible. However, they brought shovels. They advanced quickly and #Ukraine fired at them with artillery, grenade launchers and drones. If any Russian mole makes it through this alive, they will hide in the ground and start digging. Then, after a few days, a larger group of perhaps 10 to 15 Russian soldiers joined the mole hideout and used it as a starting point to attack the Ukrainian defense lines. Drone scouts, for example, have also been able to observe that heat radiated from long decommissioned Russian tanks in no man's land and were able to establish that they were used as observation points by the Russians. That's why they like to send drone bombers even on seemingly useless Russian wagons. Using one's own Russian corpses as sandbags, masking or to deceive is also common among the Russian soldiers. Covering one's mole hide with one's own Russian soldier's corpse is common, and dead Russian soldiers litter it in the no man's land on the Avdivka front. So if a Russian head pops up, scouting among the corpses, it's not an unusual sight. Then they can pull the corpse over them again as protection. Yes, this sounds like a dystopian, absurd reality, but that is what the drone operators of the 47th Brigade see repeatedly on the Avdivka front in their fight against Russian moles, and the otherwise still grinding R.